Have you ever heard of Lilith? According to ancient legends, she was Adam's first wife, long before Eve. But why did she disappear from the scriptures? And what is her true role? Get ready for a journey through myths, apocryphal texts, and a revealing biblical study on this enigmatic figure. The story of Lilith is shrouded in mystery and controversy. In many cultures and ancient mythologies, she is described as the first woman of Adam, created at the same time and from the same substance. Unlike Eve, however, Lilith is said to have been cast out of the Garden of Eden after rebelling against Adam and even God himself. Let's understand who Lilith was, what led to her exile, and how her legend emerged and spread. According to apocryphal texts and rabbinical traditions, Lilith was created as a companion for Adam. Unlike Eve, who was made from Adam's rib, Lilith was formed from the same material as him, suggesting an essential equality between them. However, the stories say that Lilith refused to submit to Adam, defending her independence and equality. She questioned why she should be submissive if both had been created in the same way. This conflict led Lilith to leave the Garden of Eden of her own will. In some versions of the legend, Lilith left Eden and went to live on the shores of the Red Sea, where she supposedly lived among demons. This separation symbolized her departure from divine order and her isolation due to her refusal to follow the rules imposed on her. It is also said that, upon leaving, she pronounced God's true name, Yahweh, to acquire power, which permanently severed her from Eden and sealed her fate as an exiled and cursed figure. Later, Jewish tradition transformed Lilith's image into a nocturnal demon, a figure associated with fear and seduction. In Kabbalistic texts, she is seen as a dark and dangerous figure, associated with temptation and separation from God. Lilith came to be viewed as a threat to newborns and pregnant women and was mentioned in some protective rituals designed to ward her off. In more modern traditions, however, Lilith is interpreted as a symbol of freedom and resistance, especially in feminist movements, where she represents the struggle for female independence. The canonical Bible, both in the Hebrew and Christian versions, does not mention Lilith as a character or figure related to Adam. Lilith's story is not part of the traditional biblical scriptures, rather, it is based on apocryphal texts, such as the alphabet of Ben Sira, and Kabbalistic literature, which appeared long after the original biblical texts. Although some interpret the term Lilith in Isaiah 34 verse 14, where a night creature is mentioned, this does not directly reference Lilith as Adam's first woman. Lilith, therefore, is a myth that developed in later traditions and is absent from the Bible. Lilith is a figure that predates the biblical text in some Mesopotamian traditions, where she appears as a spirit or female demon. In Sumerian mythology, for example, Lilu, and similar entities are seen as wind and night spirits, associated with seduction and nocturnal uncertainty. Jewish tradition may have reinterpreted these mythical figures, incorporating Lilith as a representation of rebellion and disobedience. The absence of Lilith in biblical texts could be explained by the fact that, by the time the Bible was organized, these traditions were already seen as folklore or deviated from strict monotheistic principles. Although not part of traditional biblical texts, Lilith gained symbolic meaning in later interpretations. Many modern theological currents interpret Lilith as a symbol of individual freedom and resistance against imposed submission. For some, she represents the fight for equality and autonomy, while for others, she is an example of a fall straying from the divine plan. Lilith can also be compared to other mythical female figures, such as Pandora in Greek mythology, who likewise represents forbidden defiance or curiosity. This parallel reveals how various ancient cultures explored themes of rebellion and freedom through female figures. The Bible portrays Eve as the mother of all living and a figure of submission and companionship for Adam. In contrast, Lilith represents independence and rejection of hierarchy. While Eve was created to complete Adam, Lilith is portrayed as a woman who questions her own position. In theological terms, Eve's story emphasizes the interdependence and complementarity between man and woman, while Lilith reflects the tension between personal freedom and social harmony. Lilith remains a controversial figure full of mysteries. Her story, although not part of traditional biblical texts, prompts us to reflect on freedom, equality, and the limits of obedience. Whether as a legend or a symbol, Lilith continues to provoke debate and offer new perspectives on the story of creation. Can the pursuit of freedom justify rebellion? What do you think? If you enjoyed this study on Lilith and want to understand more hidden stories and mysteries of the Bible, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video with friends who love a good story. Leave a comment with your thoughts on Lilith's story. Do you believe she represents freedom or rebellion?